Hi, welcome to another video. This is Mr. Chow from EnglishTaoShan.org. Today's video is a refresh of the PSLE Situational Writing. So I guess it's about time because the last time I did a video on PSLE Situational Writing was at least a year ago. I think there's some minor changes, so I guess we'll just do a refresh. So what's new for the PSLE Situational Writing, right? So what's the situation? The situational writing. Got it? Okay. Lame joke aside, okay, the marks have been revised from 50 marks to 40 marks. Students need not be concerned. This has got nothing to do with your own skills. You just have to remember what you need to do. Now, task fulfillment is still the same, 6 marks. So the language marks has been revised to 8 marks instead of 9 marks. So a quick note. Before I start, don't give me any poop or farty responses, okay? I know young students, when I teach my students, they like to add poop to everything and then they have a good laugh and then they're giggling. So no poop, okay? And no farting, okay? This is serious learning, okay? And it's not funny, okay? Don't laugh, no poop. I know you're laughing, right? No poop. Okay, don't be so playful, right? It's a PSLE, yeah? I think girls are doing better because they mature slightly faster. The boys especially, they're very, very playful, okay? No poop and no fart, okay? So pay attention. So let's do a quick recap. Now, situation writing, sometimes you're asked, to write an email or a letter. It can be formal, it can be informal. Now, for primary school, the format is not expected from you. You can learn it if you want to prepare for secondary school, but they will teach you all that at the secondary level, right? Primary school, you just need to know what to write for your content. However, do note the tone of writing, right? So having the right tone is still highly recommended, but you don't want to go overboard, right? For example, if I choose a casual tone, right? You don't use words like OMG exclamation mark, right? Or you're so casual, hi Papa Smurf, you are my best friend, you're my Papa Smurf, or Lemao, right? So that's like internet language, okay? WhatsApp language. So don't use these words in the actual PSLE exam, okay? You're going to lose marks because of that, okay? It's not funny, okay? Writing clear, simple sentences, I find that's what works best. You don't need to overthink it. It's a very simple exercise. Just do what is expected of you, all right? So read the task very carefully, right? So you're reading for details, the task meaning the bullet points that are given in the questions, right? And then you go to the visual to read for the details, right? So you have to be careful about where the answer is, all right? Just read the visual, okay, and start hunting for the answers, right? Scour the visual, right? Look for the details. For example, if they ask you when did the incident take place, so when is the question word, they're asking for a time. So use whatever details in the question to form your answer. So here's the example, right? The incident took place on Wednesday, 2nd March 2026 at 8 p.m., right? So I've underlined the detail from the visual, right? So if they include Wednesday, you have to include Wednesday, right? If they include 8 p.m., then you have to include 8 p.m. Okay, don't leave out any of the details because then you might be penalized, all right? Here's another example. Give 2 reasons why one should take part in the contest, okay? So these reasons are found in the visual as well, right? So, but from the visual, maybe they just give you a bullet point on a poster, right? Win attractive prizes, $1,000 book voucher. Okay, now notice that this is not a complete sentence, so students are expected to form your own answer using that particular detail in a complete sentence, right? For example, one reason for taking part is that I stand to win attractive prizes. If I win, I get a $1,000 book voucher. Okay, so a lot of students just resort to copy and pasting, right? So if you cannot even form simple sentences, then you will struggle not only in situational writing, you will struggle for in the entire paper, right? You can't even form simple sentences, all right? So this is the example. Now, if you do not understand what a question is really asking you, you lose a mark. Here's a quick example, right? Mention the organizer of the event, right? So the organizer is a keyword. Who is the organizer? If you don't understand what is the meaning of the organizer, then you stand to lose the mark. Am I right? So if you write down the sponsor, for example, you lose a mark. And some students don't know what's the difference between an organizer and a sponsor, right? Organizer is the person who put together the event. The sponsor is the one who come out with the money and the prizes, all right? If you get confused about the timing, you lose a mark, okay? Here's a quick example. State how many days the events will last. Look very innocent. Looks like a very simple question. How many days? So the student goes to the visual and look for the answer, right? And from the visual, they get some dates. Now notice that the visual does not tell you the direct answer, right? But there are some dates, right? 1st January to 2026 to 5th January 2026. And if you look at the dates, right? Some students are very smart. They say, that's very easy. I just take 5 minus 4. The answer is 4 days, right? 4 days, okay? But the answer is 5 days, not 4 days, okay? You need to be able to count. So 1st January, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, right? 5 days, okay? Not 4 days, all right? Now, if you get all the details right, of course, you earn the full 5 marks, right? But then you go, Mr. Chia, how come only 5 marks? Just now you say the task fulfillment is worth 6 marks. So where's the 1 more mark? Okay, stay with me, 1 more mark coming, right? 1 mark is reserved for the task, and that's the underline. That's what's new for the syllabus. This task for the old syllabus does not exist, right? So a lot of students just resort to copying and pasting without coming up with any original answer. So for this task itself, it requires the student's original response because the answer cannot be found in the visual, right? Cannot be found. So for example, how would you feel if you encounter a similar incident? All right. So then you have to come up with the adjective to describe how you feel, and you need to choose the right word given the situation, right or not? Okay. And if the feeling is not appropriate, then you lose the 1 mark. Okay. Answer, I feel like pooping. Wrong answer. Okay, no poop. Okay. Another example. What would you do if you were at the event? All right. Again, your actions, right? Describe the actions and your behavior as if you were at the event. Okay, and then you earn your 1 mark. So answer, I feel like farting. Again, okay, wrong answer. No poop, no fart. Remember? All right. So fortunately, joking aside, right, most students are able to come up with sensible answers. So you do need to use your CPU a little bit, use your brain a little bit to come up with some sensible answers. Otherwise, you're going to lose your 1 mark. Okay, so they make it slightly harder, slightly more challenging. So for those students who don't like to think, for those students who always need to be told what to think, right, you might struggle a little bit with this particular task. Okay, so some final tips, right? Like I said, no silly answers, no poop, okay, or fart answers, right? For your information, right, fart starts with F, but fail also starts with F, right? So you play around with your answer, so you might just get a fail, right? And poop starts with P, right? And punish also starts with P, right? So if you fart and you poop, okay, you might fail your test and you might be punished. All right, with that, okay, we'll come to the end of this video. Happy writing. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to sign up for lessons that are serious about improving your PSLE score, you know where to find me, EnglishTuition.org. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye-bye.